End of day 11. Today was the rough cut screening of everyone's projects. I think that this class really is more about pre-production than everything. And I think that's the thing that gets a little overlooked by most people, at least who are trying to come from a technical side. That they view production as when the camera comes on, that you just show up and you sit down and do your interview and you leave. And they overlook how much work it takes leading up to that point, and of course coming afterwards. And what I was most pleased about today was that people's scripts in these videos had really come a long way. It's really funny because people, and I know I've said this before, but it's easy to look at something that someone else has made and point out all the flaws. And it's so hard to be able to learn from that and implement that in your own work. Some of them are excellent critiquers, and then you see, or excellent critics, and you see their work and they're making the same mistakes that they're pointing out with other people. That's partially because it's very hard to execute some of these things well, and it's also hard to see that you're not doing it. Oh, the other thing is, when I first started planning this class, I was so obsessed with every day being perfect, and I would spend hours and hours just on the presentation. I think the aesthetic of the presentation was really important to me, how I would say things, how I would lay them out, that there'd be sort of this branding of the class. And today, I feel like things sort of came together at the last minute, and it was okay. It turned out fine. For the rough cut editing, we had spent I guess it's been months now trying to get this video annotation software to work. We were emailing back and forth with the developers like hours before the class started, and at the last minute we were creating Google spreadsheets to use those instead. And it worked out fine. Doing what's best for the class and not using technologies that exist just for the sake of using them is something that I'm learning to do. I caught myself in the editing spreadsheets. I would say, try this if you have time. And I would almost feel bad bringing stuff up of what they should reshoot. But then I think, this is part of the experience. This is why we gave them 2 whole extra days to do reshoots, is to reshoot things, and I shouldn't feel bad about making them do more work. But it's a fine line that I'm trying to toe really well, because I do sympathize with the demands of being a student here. So I'm not really sure if I'm doing that super well, and I'm basically relying on their individual feedback to get a sense of that.